So guys, this is the Bearded Geek reviewing on behalf of Mass Movement magazine. I'll leave a link down below. And I'm reviewing the definitive edition of Moonshadow. This is a weird book. If I had seen this in a shop, I probably would not have picked it up. I would have gone straight past it. I'm glad I read it because I've never read anything like this. Basic sort of premise. Meet Moonshadow, the son of a Jewish hippie girl and a madly grinning alien light moon, I think. Yeah, it's weird. Right, he's raised in an intergalactic zoo, and he's kicked out of 15 with only his cat and a sex-crazed furry weirdo for companionship. This is a 12-part series, originally written by J.M. DeMatteis in the 1980s. It was republished under the Vertigo imprint in 1995, and it's a story of Moon's journey to maturity and awakening. And again, I think I'm kind of guessing because, wow. I've got to say, Moonshine is a beautiful book. The stunning watercolour painted artwork, courtesy of John J. Muth, or Muth. It's odd. It is very odd. So just to give you an idea of some of the artwork, it does look watercoloured, painted. And the watercolour is the majority of what we get. There are occasional panels that differ, where ink takes over, and that's normally to highlight an effect, for instance, to show alienation or some form of drama. And it's a very interesting transition between the watercolours and then the more solid or concrete moments. This comes, to me, this is more of an illustrated novel as opposed to a comic or a graphic novel. There are typical comic book dialogues. There are dialogue balloons that you would associate with comic books, but they are definitely dominated by the narration, out of this world narration, pun intended. It's fantastic artwork. I can't say enough good about the artwork. It's beautiful. It's very silly. It's very, very out there. I'm really out there. So, art side, I've got a bit of an issue with the story, or rather, the lack of story. This is going to sound really harsh, but when I consider, I read this today. It took a while. It's the size of the thing. When I consider I read about Moon watching his mother die, spending time in an insane asylum, joining the army, losing his virginity, searching for home and briefly finding it, and I can't help but think that I've just watched normal things happen in a bizarre, crazy world. I spent most of my time reading this wondering where he was all going, wondering what the payoff would be, and I think I built up an ending in my head that I didn't get at all. So Moon's father is one of a race of completely unpredictable beings with unimaginable, omnipotent power, and he just seems to appear totally random through the book, mostly the sort of a plot device to move the story along when the story starts to stutter. And this story is narrated by Moon as an old man, and that took me out of the story quite a bit. To me, plot is really important in a book. I read graphic novels almost daily. I've got a lot of graphic novels. I've got a lot of books as well. I do like to read. But I definitely missed some in here. I just didn't get it. It's very literature-centric too. Like every chapter, it opens with a quote of text from somebody else's sort of famous work. And every issue ends with mentioning of Moonshadow's journey to awakening. But what is his awakening? Because I got no idea. In the last issue, Moon and his companions end up on a planet called Sri Quack. Yeah, Sri Quack. That's a place. Looking for a prophet that has discovered the meaning of life. And this is where I thought this book's going to go crazy and I'm going to absolutely love it. His companions end up wandering around in circles, knowing that their behaviour is ridiculous, shouting Shri Shri Quack Quack or something. Moon then goes off on his own with the ghost of his dead mother, or the memory of his dead mother, and then goes into a cave by himself and reaches the end of his journey. So me as a reader, I didn't know what the awakening was. I didn't know what all of this that I've been reading about had come to. The entire book was about Moonshadow's awakening, and it's at the point of this awakening that the elder Moonshadow decides to end his narration. I feel cheated. Like, this book was completely pointless. It was beautiful to look at, but there's no definitive end or no reason for what I've just sort of spent 2 hours trying to assimilate. Because this was not the easiest of things to read. It's very, very strange. Or have I missed something? Is the book trying to tell me it's the journey that counts and not the ending? Maybe, and that's cool. But to me, it's a cop-out and a cheat. In fact, it seems the entire 12-page journey was essentially pointless. I mean, maybe if I looked for some deeper form of mysticism and complexity, I could find it. But I can't be bothered. I like to read my book and know what's going on. I mean, I've read Stephen King's Dark Tower series, or I'm reading that series. That's out there, but I get that. There's a story, there's a plot, there's big events that keep you hooked. And this is just far too weird for me. And I hope other people have enjoyed it. And if you have, comment down below and explain what I've missed. So, all that being said, it's not a bad book. I don't think. It was a bad book for me. At times, the art doesn't reflect the gravity of situations in the book either. It's very cartoony and silly, and the moments are supposed to be very serious. It was a bit of a fun book, and the art really, I can't say anything bad about the art. The art was really good. There are plenty of twists and turns in the book. Unfortunately, it's like somebody's fused poetry and art together in some sort of drug-induced trip. Maybe it's a fairy tale for grown-ups and I'm just not grown up enough to get it. Or maybe I wasn't born in the 60s or around in the 60s to take copious amounts of narcotics, where this would make perfect sense to me because I would be reliving some acid heyday. But there we go. So obviously this is the definitive edition, and it does include the original 12-part as well as the Farewell to Moonshadow, which apparently fills in the gaps from when the original ends to the point of where the elderly Moonshadow is writing his story down. The later book does differ to the first in that it's almost a page of story, a piece of art. I'll show you, see if you get what I mean. No, can't show you that bit because it'll give away something if you do want to go and read it. But yeah, this is sort of what the last part of the book does. So for me, I think I'm being kind here. I'm giving this a 7 out of 10 purely because of the art, and if the ending had landed a bit or I'd understood it, maybe it'd be a brilliant book. I know people absolutely love this thing and I've heard of it. It really didn't do anything for me. Amazing art, but my personal taste, this book just was not for me. It's just too odd. It's just too out there. Maybe I'm getting boring in my old age, or maybe I just didn't get it. But if you want to pause the video and read sort of what other people have said, let me stick my face behind there and it'll focus. So you can pause it and read what other people have said, because everyone's got a really high opinion of this book. And I'm sorry, it didn't do anything for me. Not really. I mean, there was some really cool art. And some of the concepts were cool. It was just these moon things that are just appearing, transporting some people, eating others, and the art is brilliant yet bizarre. I mean, I can't show too much of the book because I'll probably get done on YouTube because there's nudity in it, even though it's artistically done. No, it's not like softcore porn or anything. I sound like a prude. So yeah, there's my review. It's a 7 out of 10, and that's me being really generous, because I'm pretty sure that this is a good book to somebody that's into it, and it's a really good story to some people. But for me, no, I'll stick to Hulk Smash and Deadpool, I think. That being said, I'm up for reviewing anything. I've got 2 new books coming to me on Wednesday from Mass Movement again that I'll be reviewing. Hopefully I'll get some more toys coming in and action figures, stuff to unbox. And I've got a haul video coming. So guys, before you sign off, like, subscribe, comment, share, all that YouTube stuff. If you want to check out this, check it out. This book's quite expensive, I think it's like £30. And I will be back with more reviews soon. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.